Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rich Howarth, and I lead the Agile Planning and Business Management segments for Broadcom's Enterprise Software Division. I'm here today to talk to you about Biz Ops and how to evolve your company from a project-based organization to a product-driven company as part of your digital transformation. As you've heard, Biz Ops is a data-driven framework for decision-making that helps you connect your IT organization with your business. If you look at the different personas or functions within your company that can all benefit from Biz Ops, it starts with business planning. Business planning, which might include your PMO, your line of business executives, is all about deciding what you're going to do in your company. It's about building a roadmap of strategic initiatives. It's about funding the most important business initiatives in your company. But in order to do that, you need to have an understanding of what something is going to take to build in terms of cost and time, and ultimately be able to measure the value that you've delivered along with an initiative. That's why connecting all of the data from these different organizations or functions is so important to running your business efficiently. Once the line of business organization defines, a strategic set of initiatives on a roadmap, those initiatives go to your development organization. And assuming you're using Agile development, you'll build a backlog of what's most important to get started with to implement an initiative. The benefit of Agile and using an Agile development planning tool like Rally is that you get visibility into where you are. Large companies don't just have a small number of teams building out an initiative. They may have multiple release trains and hundreds of different Agile teams. So it's critical that you're able to roll up all of the data across those Agile teams and look at where you are, look at your velocity, how much progress you're making. Once you build something, you then want to put it through an automated DevOps pipeline that includes testing and deployment. You want to be able to ensure before you deploy something into production that you've tested it properly and that you haven't had any risks or issues that caused failures of deployment to occur at other times in your organization. Once you deliver something into production, how do you know that it's actually delivering on the value, the objectives that the business team needs? And this is where application monitoring is critical. You want to monitor not just things like uptime and performance, but you want to actually understand how your customers are using the new product feature, the new mobile app, the new website, and whether it's delivering the value that you expected or has issues. For example, if you deliver a new mobile application, you might find that users download it and log in and then stop using it immediately. It's absolutely critical that the business users rapidly understand why users are abandoning that mobile application instead of using it consistently. These are the benefits that your company can gain from our Biz Ops solution and connecting all of the parts of the value stream and providing that information to all of the important leaders, the business leaders, the IT and engineering leaders, and the operations leaders that are running the service. Our flow of value solution, which is built on the Biz Ops platform, is the common lens of data that business and IT leaders can rely on to negotiate, steer, and optimize their deliveries. By combining strategic investment initiatives from Clarity, the road mapping information from your planning projects, with the Agile planning and execution data from Rally and other tools, all connected to the broader software development lifecycle tools. Business and IT users now have the ability to understand true measures of software efficiency, including things like lead time, cycle time, and many other critical metrics. This flexible data model that's part of Biz Ops breaks the constraints of traditional systems, enabling business and IT leaders both to be able to visualize the value stream in real time and identify and resolve bottlenecks. Bottlenecks can be caused by dependencies. They can be caused by too many handoffs between organizations that lead to wait times. One company I talked to described their approach to improving efficiency and productivity. They focused on eliminating all of the handoffs in their development organization, and as a result, saw a significant improvement in both productivity and efficiency, as well as the number of deliveries they were able to achieve. Of course, being able to identify and eliminate these bottlenecks requires visibility to the value stream. And that's what our Biz Ops solution is able to provide. A company that's been a leader in leveraging new software technologies and digital transformation, as well as agile development, is Ford. It's my pleasure to introduce Serene He-Pang, who leads the Agile and Development Tools organization in Ford. Serene, welcome.
Thank you, Rich, for that introduction. Today, I have the privilege of sharing our story of how we evolved from project-driven to product-driven, driving digital transformation, creating tomorrow. So as a manufacturing company, we didn't view ourselves as a software company. But our mission to drive human progress through the freedom of movement was critical. And as one era fades and another one dawns, smart vehicles for a smart world is a way to help us frame this new era. It urged us to stay in front of solving big societal needs. This is a time of incredible change. Forces of technology and innovation is allowing us to work on smarter solutions to complement those forces. We want to drive freedom of movement, which has always been a part of our vision dating right back to Henry Ford. And now in this new era, it takes on a new life. In this new era, in our business, it positions ourselves at the intersection of all forms of electrification. It has caused disruption in our industry, but it has also invited us to think about all the possibilities that could go along with this new transportation in cities and the value that we can create. We have new capabilities to take on, to create new and exciting software and products, and we're becoming more agile, gaining new partners. So how will IT support that mission? How do we transform IT's organizational structure, culture, and demand management to achieve that, to achieve customer centricity, a vibrant workplace, and value creation at market speed? Well, to help us set our goals, we landed on 3 key areas: IT demand management, culture, and product-driven organization. Now, we realized that some projects didn't deliver value, and we were not completely strategically aligned. Teams needed to be structured in different ways to move nimble and with less bureaucracy. Well, we have been transforming to a product-driven organization, doing things the right way. Our efforts progressed with doing things right. With demand management, building solutions for our customers' need, and creating products with end-to-end support. The shift to a product-driven organization relies on implementing a customer-centric view. This empowers teams to continuously deliver software at an increased speed while living our culture values and fostering innovation and agility. Teams are transitioning from project delivery to product-driven so that we may create unique products and services that will offer the best value for our customers over our competitors and prioritize customer centricity. This helps us also deliver at market speed because our teams are now working on the right things. Culture is fundamental and also a key capability in our strategy. And we've made it a priority to deliver a vibrant workplace and delivering iteratively. That means fostering innovation, balancing new tools and technology with the enterprise sustainability in mind, continuously learning, built on trust, collaboration, and problem solving. And as I mentioned before, being nimble with less bureaucracy. So I shared with you a summary of what our plan is. Let me take you through a journey of how we got there. Our journey started about 10 years ago. We had adopted Agile, as most of you probably also did. We put processes in place to drive adoption. We adopted Agile at the team level and experimented adoption at the program level. We also hired many experts who gave us advice. The downside of that approach was that we drove ourselves in many different directions with different focuses. We realized that Agile transformation in itself was insufficient. We cannot transform just teams. This transformation can only work when we do it together as a full team and as an organization. So we learned from that, and at that time in 2017, had a partnership with Pivotal. We explored the product team model and the roles that existed within. That was the beginning of the creation of product teams. We learned that the traditional roles within a project team needed to change. Our roles, our skills, and all those muscles that we knew so well needed to be upskilled in this new product world. In 2018, we began our product journey. A council was formed consisting of our IT directors and our CIO. They were highly committed to this transformation journey. They dedicated 2 to 3 hours each week to help drive the transformation. And they learned as we adjusted how we led the transformation. We implemented process and structures, incorporating and improving our processes as what we've learned through our experiments. And we implemented structure. Yes, you heard me right. We implemented more structure. And so we did that so that there was more expertise and accountability throughout the layers. Within our IT organization, we had 3 core functions. They were development, application management and maintenance, and operations. And as we embarked on this product journey, we had to break the silos down so that they could form that single product team, along with our business. Supporting the culture part, we had to pay attention to our people. We focus on upskilling their skill sets, and we also help them discover what those new product roles were. We implemented common tools that were adopted, and it helped us to measure. And one of the key ones that we used was insights within Rally, which is a software development performance index that helped teams and leaders ask questions and measure against themselves. The other thing that we focused on was employee satisfaction, and that helped keep us on track for our culture transformation. Throughout all of this work, we recognize that not all teams are the same. Their destination points may also be different due to their product needs. We didn't try to start everything at once. We started our first slice of our product and learned and iterated and slowly brought in our infrastructure and our service teams. So where are we today and what are we focusing on? We're continuing to move our product teams to their desired maturity level and thinking and planning what sustainability looks like for them. We're focusing on IT demand management to delivery outcomes. We're focusing on building those solutions for our customers' needs and creating products with end-to-end support. We're mapping those business initiatives into delivery outcomes so that both our business and our product teams understand and sees it end to end. So that's our journey, and we're continuing to learn and iterate.
Thank you, Serene, for that wonderful presentation. As you mentioned, Ford began their Agile transformation journey 10 years ago. That makes you one of the pioneers in the industry. What would you say your initial biggest challenge was in this journey?
That's a great question, Rich. I would say that our biggest challenge is the realignment of teams and the organization structure. We had new roles and new skills, and those muscles that we were used to, needed to change. It was a huge change for everybody. It caused quite a lot of anxiety for a lot of people. They didn't know, what it looked like for them. So I would say that that was probably the biggest challenge that we had.
I hear that from a lot of companies, and I hear one of the major reasons companies fail with an agile transformation is because of these teams that want to continue to do what they have in the past. What level of executive involvement did it take to break down these silos?
Um, so our CIO and his direct reports were involved in making those decisions. They understood they understood the need that we had to transform and that we had to change to be able to survive in this new era. And so they supported their teams through this entire journey.
Interesting. That's great. And so, Ford has a lot of great products. I love your trucks personally, and
We
so
do too.
so I'd like to ask, what was the biggest benefit that you saw in your move from projects to a product-based organization?
In projects, there was always an end date of completion, right? And usually it's a much smaller scope. And ownership is really for the project and the delivery of its milestones. A product, it's much larger and it allows visibility to the end to end. When we make decisions, having that end to end view allows us to steer our decisions with impact and risk and sustainability in mind. So I think that's the biggest benefit.
Okay, and you talked a lot about business outcomes in your presentation. Can you describe what you did to align your products with business outcomes?
Sure can. So we started with a product hypothesis that aligned with those business outcomes when we start to form our products and its teams. As we learned, we adjusted, and now we're paying more attention to aligning those outcomes to product delivery.
Interesting. And it's interesting you talked about Rally Insights. Can you talk or help? Can you describe a little bit how you used the data in Rally to measure objectives and to help make your decisions?
Mhm. Yeah, getting all those product teams into Rally was probably a very important move that allowed us to be able to measure teams' progress and allowing teams to align their work into those large initiatives and objectives. We set up Rally to support our product structure, which then allows us to view data by products and product teams. Leadership had full transparency into where the work was, and it reduced the subjective interpretation of the data. And the data was available to everyone that could see it. It was available to the teams, it was also available to our leadership, and it was all real time.
Hmm. So your executive leadership had access to the data in Rally directly?
They did.
That's great. So, what best practices and advice can you share with our listeners in the audience?
Um, I would say that this type of transformation requires support from our executives. And it cannot be done in silos because we tried that. And it's really about going big or going home. It's a journey and there will be new learnings along the way. We just have to be open minded and we have to keep adjusting. Create a consistent model and leverage the strength of the people that we have. And we can together drive this change successfully.
When you look back at your journey, what's the one thing you would have done differently?
Mm, very good question. Um, I don't know if we would have done things differently. I think if I was, if I had the ability to change one thing, I think we would have probably embarked on this journey, this product journey, much earlier. Um, I think everything that we did in the beginning years, helped us learn along the way, and so um, I wouldn't consider those years that were wasted. But knowing where we have gone over the last 2 years, being on this product journey, I would say that if we could have started earlier, I could only imagine some of the more exciting products that we could have created.
Wow, that's amazing because a lot of companies I talk to now are still struggling to move to a product-based organization and to fund, durable, permanent teams.
Mhm.
Would you say that your development organization, your engineers have been happier with a product-based approach?
Um, I do know that there was learning on their end as well. There was quite a bit of ends when we started embarking on this journey. And I would say that they definitely feel more empowered. They feel more in control of what they have and are being able to do today. We value inputs from all layers of the organization. So I would say yes, they are definitely more satisfied. I think our indexes tells us that actually.
Okay, that's great. And in my presentation, I talked a lot about this void between business and IT. And can you talk about how moving to a product organization has helped solve that at Ford?
Yes. So for when we moved on onto this product journey, one of the things that we did was we actually worked very, very closely with our business, trying to understand what their needs were. Um, of course, there's always resistance, but I think teams took that resistance not as a showstopper, but as a challenge to say, how can we make it better together? And I think it was learning on the business's side as well. We're still learning. We're still discovering how to make it better. So we're not at the peak level of saying, we know how to do this perfectly each time. We're still discovering and learning as we go along.
Yeah. So after 10 years of this, what's the next big part of your journey going to be?
So I had talked a little bit about being able to see end to end, and we're focusing on demand management. We're still understanding what that means. There's many, many parts of demand management. There's, the funding pieces of it, the investment pieces of it. How do we allocate? How do we prioritize? I think we're discovering and learning that. So that's probably the next big thing.
Mhm.
We're discovering what it truly is like.
Yeah. Well, that's great, Serene. I just wanted to say thank you again for participating in the Biz Ops Summit and for our work together.
Yeah, thanks, Rich. It's been a pleasure.